often asked, especially in the interviews that I've done here lately, why do I write? Writing for me is the same as breathing. I need it. I have to have it. When I've denied my writing in the past, I was very miserable. I didn't have an outlet to express myself. And some of my friends are laughing at this right now, going, Keisha, not express herself? But trust me, I have moments when I just don't articulate well at all. But writing has always been an outlet for me. Whether I'm sad, depressed, happy, angry, mad, comical, silly, goofy, whatever adjective you want to throw out there, writing has always been there to help ease the way, help me sort out things. Sometimes it's been there to remind me that I am allowed to be a little selfish sometimes and to think about myself and not necessarily carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. That I have to let people stand on their own 2 feet and that I can't do it for them. And that's some of the hardest of life lessons to learn, that you need to focus on yourself on occasion, even when you do have family and a spouse or a significant other. There's always going to be someone in your life, because we all have family of some sort, and you have to learn to balance and juggle it. And that's kind of what finally made everything fall into place for me in this year, was finding that balance. Learning that I was not Superwoman or Wonder Woman, Diane, who reminds me constantly. My friend Diane Dextra, definitely. She's always telling me, you're not Superwoman. And I finally learned that. So, thank you. But other things I'm asked is, why do you write what you write? Well, I write what I write because it's what I know. I would not even begin to write a murder mystery because I don't know anything about murder. I don't know anything about necessarily how law enforcement works. I mean, I've watched shows like CSI, SVU, the different Law and Order series, and they fascinate me. But I don't think I could just write a pure mystery, a pure thriller, what have you, because these aren't normally genres I read. I love to read science fiction. I love my fantasy. I love what they call the paranormal genre, which I didn't know it at the time. I just said I love werewolves and shapeshifters, and I was informed a few years ago that that's called paranormal stuff. So thank you for enlightening me there. But I've kind of always read stuff in those genres, especially science fiction and fantasy. Fantasy, definitely when I was younger. Lots of fairy tales, fables, folk tales, mythology. Really big with me when I was roughly ages 9 to 11. It finally got to the point where I lived in Virginia, a little town called Coburn, that the librarians finally had to tell me, Keisha, we're sorry, but you literally checked out every book dealing with these subjects. I mean, there was nothing else that they could do for me at that point in time, which disappointed me tremendously, but, it was a great learning experience, and I learned quite a bit from reading that. Other things that I read that kind of made me stick with the genre was Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. I read Anne Fried's, I think it was Dragonflight. I know it was Dragon Drums definitely was another one that I read of hers that they happen to have in the school library. And Susan Cooper, who did the Darkest Rising series. These were the type of writers I was reading when I was younger, that just made me want to continue to stick with them as I got older. And then the science fiction came a little bit later, a little bit more toward my 7th, 8th grade year. So when I was about 12 to 14, Star Trek, Star Wars, that genre started to influence my reading a little bit. And so I went a little bit there and did some science fiction. Piers Anthony, I discovered him around about that time. Andre Norton, Mercedes Lackey, these were all fantasy authors too that I was introduced to by my local librarian at the time. So these are the things I've read that motivate me, that move me, that entrance me, that make me go, wow, that's such great writing. These are the foundation stones for me. I often get asked, when did I decide to become a writer? Well, I didn't decide to become one. I've always been one. It was more of an awareness of where I wanted to go with my life. Did I want to simply stick with the fan fictions that I had been doing, or did I want to embark on something new and original and totally my own? And that was that decision to work on a manuscript and become published that changed the way I viewed things. But as far as, being a writer, I've always been a writer. I've always kept journals. I'm talking notebooks and notebooks of journals. And then blogging, once I learned how to do that, lots of blogs. Always doodling stuff. Lots of poetry in high school. So like I said, I've been writing since I was 8. That was when I wrote my first story that I actually can remember. It's called The Elf in the Fruit Bowl. It was a cute little short story that I entered into a local PTA writing contest, and I actually ended up making it to the county level and getting an honorable mention for my story. I was proud of the peacock too. It was only 8. It was really exciting stuff for an 8-year-old. But yeah, so since the age of 8, I've been writing in some form or fashion. And 2004 was when I made a decision to actually try to write something with the intent to get it published.